Happy Friday, everybody,
Happy Friday.
and
Happy Friday.
welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts,
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
and today we have joining us from right here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, Katey Bellville.
Yay! Hello, happy Friday.
And Alan says Happy Friday, everybody.
Hey, Alan.
And Alan, you didn't say what you're drinking. You're a party regular, and we always want to know what you're having down in Texas. So let us know. Chris Jetner, fun day Friday, BCLP time, enjoying a nice glass of beer from Minneapolis Uda Pills Brewing.
Nice.
Style doesn't matter. It's true.
Might be
It doesn't
many
matter.
different flavors in that glass.
Exactly. Connie says hi from Richfield, and Alinda, happy Friday from New Haven, Connecticut. Wherever you are tuned in from, let us know that you're out there. If you are enjoying a beverage or a snack as you kick off your weekend as part of this musical happy hour. We'd love to hear from you. And Tony, on this kind of gloomy but warm Friday, what are you enjoying?
I'm enjoying a hazy little thing IPA from
In a very
Sierra,
nice glass, by the
from
way.
Sierra Nevada. Yeah,
This
in
is
my
glass.
it's very kind of sunshiny packaging on that, and it looks even more sunshiny in my back catalog listening party glass.
Yeah, that's great. And Katey, what about you?
I'm having a very classy mimosa in a mason jar.
Oh, nice.
Perfect.
Yes,
Good
very
choice.
good.
Talk about sunshiny.
Yeah.
And Alan, long story short, spent last weekend bottling Garrison Brothers bourbon. Guess
Oh.
what I'm imbibing?
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
How about
Well,
you, Ellen?
I broke open my Extreme Folk Dry Rosé.
You still have that?
It's a different box, but
I see. Okay, I was gonna say
it's
that's
my go-to house wine here at Mother Banjo House. So enjoying a nice dry rosé on this gray day, and I'm so excited that all you folks are joining us because we're in for a real treat. This is going to be a fun hour of music and conversation. Lynn also sipping a Sierra Nevada beer,
Ooh,
so you're in
cheers.
good company, Tony.
Cheers, Lynn.
Pale ale from Greenville, South Carolina. Well, we are very excited to have Katey Bellville joining us today to revisit her 2013 album Clue. And Katey, you've been making music around these parts for a long time. And but for folks who are maybe less familiar with your music or live further afield, maybe you could give a little 2-minute origin story about where you grew up, how you fell into making music, and in particular where this album fits in.
Definitely. Okay, well, initially music definitely started in my family because my dad plays music. He was really well known around the West Bank in the Minneapolis area. Plays everything. You can just toss him any instrument and he plays it. He also used to have a music shop, Rod Bellville. He was in the initial Powder Milk Biscuit Band for Prairie Home Companion. He just has a amazing history in the area. So he had me on stage when I was pretty little. I think the first time that I actually sang, I must have been about 5, and it was a talent show.
Oh, wow.
But, it was like family. It was my dad, so it was a little bit different. And I would say I wasn't actually comfortable really out there having my own fun until I was about 22 or 23 because I was in the Medora musical out in Theodore Roosevelt National Park. And all of a sudden I was around other musicians who played regularly and had fun and enjoyed themselves and weren't shy about admitting that they love to play music. And after that is when I started songwriting, after that musical. So my dad and I wrote one of my first songs at the Purple Onion coffee shop in Dinkytown.
Wow.
And I stayed in touch with a lot of the staff from that musical. I ended up even moving to Nashville for a couple of years with a couple of the castmates, and didn't really go to Nashville for music, which was funny. I went there just to run away, but had some phenomenal experiences while I was there, including singing with Alison Krauss at the Ryman for a pre-home companion, and came back home to Minneapolis and finally was in a place where I was comfortable playing. And so I played with a band called Katey Bellville and the Creek Bones, and then another band called Darkwood Flower. And now it's been Katey Bellville and those SOBs for the last 10 years or so.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Wonderful. And Alan must be responding to the Powder Milk Biscuit Band. Heavens, they're tasty. That's right. That was their tagline. Well, we are so excited to play from this album. And tell us, this album, was this where did this fit in your discography?
Well, music has always been in the background all the time. I am the kind of person who, unfortunately, I'm getting better at this now, but I don't put myself forward. I'm a very help everybody else, and perhaps a little the multitasking. It's not necessarily a positive thing. So one day, and I don't remember why exactly, I just thought I need to record like an actual album, not just stuff here, not there, la di da. And I happened to do it at a time right when I was getting married and starting a family, and ended up having a baby. And so this album came out, and then I kind of didn't play music for a while. So it was the very beginning of something that has more or less been on pause for a decade. And now that my kids are a little more independent, I'm starting to get back into the scene, and I can't wait to record more. But it's my only 12-song CD.
Wow. And I can't wait to dig into this album because it's been a favorite of mine for a while. So the name of the album is Clue. Again, it came out in 2013. And the first track that you picked to feature from this album is the title track. Is there anything you want to say about this song before we take a listen?
No, I love this song. Let's play it.
That's all you need to say. And I think everybody else is going to say the same thing after they hear it. This is Katey Bellville, Clue, here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
On my brain, leave my mind humble, insane. I don't know if you know what you do. Is it intentional? Do you have a clue? Everyone should feel this way, how the world would change every day. Whether blue or gray in the sky, treat me like a deity, I don't know why. Every day I'm testing my wings, the strength in my lungs, and I wanna sing. I don't know if you know what you do. Is it intentional? Do you have a clue? Everyone should feel this way, how the world would change every day. Change every day. You're a friend to everybody, top of the short list if someone's in need. Wanna cover you with my body, protect you from evil, keep you sweet. I don't know if you know what you do. Is it intentional? Do you have a clue? Everyone should feel this way, how the world would change every day. Sing, you got the right jive and you know you're for me. Got the right jive and you know you're for me. Got the right jive and you know you're for me. Got the right jive and you know you're for me. Got the right jive and you know you're for me. Got the right jive and you know you're for me. Got the right jive and you know you're for me. Got the right jive and you know you're for me.
Katey Bellville with Clue, the title track to her 2013 album, which we are revisiting today on the back catalog listening party with Katey joining us. And man, the banjo on that,
Yeah,
super sweet.
up front and center.
Yeah.
As it should be, right, Ellen?
It gets all the thumbs up from these two banjo players. That's for sure.
I love banjo so much. I am very offended by all the banjo jokes. Trust me, I defend you at all costs.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We
I
appreciate
think I'm pretty sure I had to fight hard in many situations with people who were helping me, and said, "No, I want that banjo." And you'll notice it in other songs too. Yep, I love it.
So who was playing banjo on that?
And that one, it was Mike Heading.
Nice.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we have been, there he is. Yeah, Mike and I have been playing music together for over a decade. He is just an absolute blast, real talent, so much fun to play with.
Kind of a threat on multiple instruments too.
Oh, definitely.
Player.
Yeah, well, like as I was saying with my passion for banjo, it's normally what I want him to play just because I love it so much. Eric Larson plays with us a lot. Not a lot, regularly. It's funny how you just have autopilot talking sometimes. And he plays mandolin. So now, yeah.
Nice.
Keep that banjo,
Excellent.
Mike.
That's right.
Well, while we're on that topic, can you tell us who else was playing on that track?
Yeah, so this is really fun because, well, it's just fun. Like I said, I've been little by little getting back into music, and Ellen has just been such an inspiration and so much help with this. And I had to actually look at
Totally
my notes
for
a little
selfish
bit.
reasons, because I just want to hear you play more and more.
I love it. Girl, I'm grateful beyond belief. So this is so interesting because I was pulling up the notes from my Inside CD cover. And even though I have so many people within the Twin Cities, I mean, so many who touched this in one way or another or helped or inspired or whatnot, I did this entire thing by myself. As I said, I don't remember really what put the light under, but I did everything myself, all the songwriting, all the recording. It went everywhere, got everybody. Like it was a real figure it out as you go project. And so the recordings have different people on them because I recorded part in Nashville and then some in Minneapolis. And so sometimes we collaborated the two recordings together. And yeah, that's me at Studio X in Nashville. And so on this one, we had Zach Gusa playing guitar and singing harmony vocals with me, and Mike Heading on banjo, and then Ryan Kim, who we played with for a short while, playing bass.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Yeah. And if for those of you who are watching this episode with us live on YouTube, we've been looking at some photos of some of these studio shots, both in Nashville and some of the band members here in the Twin Cities. And again, we'll be probably looking at some other images. But if you ever want to see any of these photos, if you're just listening on your earbuds or whatever, you'll always be able to go back and look at these photos online. We archive all of our episodes up at backcataloglistingparty.com with all the photos and show notes and all that good stuff.
All the goodies.
All the goodies. And yeah, it's kind of amazing that you said it was kind of pieced together because it sounds so organic and live, which is really neat.
And I tried so hard to do that. I really tried not to have like a lot of reverb on the vocals or a lot of extra details. I wanted it to be simple, very, very simple. I worked on that a lot. And it's interesting because that song also began by doing like a voice memo on my cell phone years ago with my brother when we were out at the Gay 90s after bar close, and we were totally sober, and we were maybe doing a little beatboxing and rapping in the parking lot.
As you do.
And that's how that song started, actually.
Really?
And, yeah, and if I went to have it recorded, I probably wouldn't have remembered the next day. But I played Bootleggers, which used to be downtown. I don't know how long they were. And I did a show with Jay Lenz and Nate Sipe in like 2009. And we played that song, and Nate beatboxed in the background. There's a recording of it.
No way.
Wow.
I'd love to hear a remix.
Yeah.
Sometime in the future.
Yeah,
as well.
remix.
Yeah, he was being like really shy about it too. Like, no. If you know how to beatbox, we're doing this. Like, that's how the song originated. We're doing some I love beatboxing.
That's awesome.
For those of you who might not remember, Nate and Jay are from the band Pert Near Sandstone, who've also been guests here on the back catalog listingparty.com So you can check that out at our website as well. But yeah, I want to hear the beatboxing version as well. That would be pretty sweet.
I just sent it to his dad, actually. I just found his dad on Facebook because I was talking to him at the Cedar Cultural Center a couple years ago about it. And I don't know if he believed me. I'm like, no, there's a recording. I'm going to send it to you.
We got a request.
Sarah,
I don't know how to beatbox. If I did, I totally would. Kay, if I knew how to beatbox, I would do it for you. I don't. I mean, I could take it, but it'd be pathetic. Another day.
I love, by the way, just to go back a little bit, that you said, I worked really hard at making it simple, which I think is such a interesting comment, because I think there's this, I think some people don't realize that what sounds simple isn't always simple. Sometimes it's easier to overcomplicate things and to like just layer on lots of tracks because it can cover up lots of other things. But to keep something, pretty pure, and again, especially if you're piecing it together with lots of different tracks from different recording sessions, making it sound that kind of pure organic thing can be really hard. And I think people don't always realize how hard that can be.
Yeah, it was. I remember at the end, I mean, I was ready to be done with the project. I loved it, but I was so involved. And Steve Call, who helped me a lot with the mixing and the producing of it, you could tell he was ready to be done too. Katey,
shout out to Steve Call, by the way.
Stop now. Oh no, he saved me on that album. He was wonderful. Yeah,
One thing that actually struck me, it's so interesting to hear that there was a beatbox or like a rhythm in that track, is that it was like the kind of the.
It wasn't in that track. No, not in that.
No, I mean like in the inspiration of it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Because in the track itself, what I was going to say is it seemed like the backbeat was kind of implied. There wasn't the traditional mandolin chop. There wasn't a snare drum hit. And like that's really kind of an interesting approach to it. And now that I know that there was beatbox in there at first, I can see what it was all riding on top of, I think, before that. Nice. So super cool tidbit.
And I would just suggest that if you're liking the music today, that you can get the record, you can, download the digital version or whatever, because you want to hear this in all its simple beauty. But if you get the track, then you can add your own beatbox layer to it. It's like karaoke beatbox,
And I might have a few CDs still. So yeah, either I'd be happy to send you a CD.
And it sounds really good. I mean, Wild Sound, one of the premier rooms here in the Twin Cities, and Nashville studio, probably any of them. Also, it's not just the gear, but the people behind the board and everybody involved. So if you really are, an audiophile and you love to hear organic sounds of acoustic instruments like we do here on the Back Catalog, get the CD, and then, you can always still stream it when you're in your car or whatever. But if you really want the true listening experience, highly recommend the WAV files.
Yes. And speaking of music, I think it's time for another song. What do you think?
I think so.
And this song, Minnesota Snow, which oddly in January, I'm looking outside my window right now, and
Minnesota rain.
Yeah, it's a weird winter here.
It feels like March,
the Twin
right?
Cities.
It's so weird,
But obviously, you're a native Minnesotan. So tell us a bit about what inspired this song.
Well, two different things. And it's funny because they're really different sides of the spectrum. On one side of it, it's this amazing love. And on the other side, it's really wanting to give someone some, I don't know, rough advice or something like that. I don't know. But more or less, it's about people who are really well loved by many, but they're still superficial somehow. They're still only skin deep. And I just, I'm like, let me help you. Let me help you take care of your heart and your emotions and everything, because you're doing a really horrible job. You're doing a really bad job. And if you're a good person in this situation, think of how amazing you'd be if I could just bring this back to life. And I love the song also. There's so many little quirks to different lyrics. And this is one thing that I always want to throw in, is there's a line about talking about rubbing it and bringing it back to life, like holding the heart and rubbing it, bringing it back to life. And my dad used to raise Labrador retrievers, and on the farm, animals, sometimes they don't make it or things happen. And my dad was a bit of a special touch with animals. And so I just remember him telling me about sometimes the runt wouldn't be alive, and he wouldn't give up on them. He would just keep rubbing them, and he could get them to like come back to life. And so there's just a lot of fun lyrics thrown into the mix of it.
Nice.
Excellent. Well, Rusted Lullaby chimed in to say Minnesota Snow is one of their favorite songs, and we're going to give it a spin right now here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. This is Katey Bellville, Minnesota Snow.
Let me borrow your heart. You won't even know it's gone. Dwelling in your dark black hole. You haven't used it for so long. Then don't say you haven't felt it. Sitting there freezing cold, stinging like the winter wind, buried in Minnesota snow. And I promise I won't lose it. I'll hold it tight, won't let it fall. I thought I'd keep it in my pocket, but I changed my mind, 'cause it's so damn small. Let me borrow your heart. You won't even know it's gone. Dwelling in your dark black hole. You haven't used it for so long. I'm gonna place it in my palm and rub it, bring it back to life. Warm it up, 'cause it's so defensive, like a stray dog threatening to bite. Then don't say you haven't felt it. Sitting there freezing cold, stinging like the winter wind, buried in Minnesota snow. Oh, buried in Minnesota snow.
Ooh. Was that the sound on the recording, or was that coming from someone's respective studio space? That I was hearing like a whistle of wind. Maybe that is just the ghost of the machine.
You know what? You know what? I have an old computer and I have a fan on it, because otherwise it overheats.
But you know what? It was so perfect. It sounded like it was coming from the track, because it was right after it was
the prairie, all the
Yeah.
cold Minnesota
I was
air
going to ask
blowing
you guys
through.
about that. I was
Totally
like, can you hear that? Maybe I should unplug it.
It was perfect, actually. These are the things that you can't plan on.
Right.
Is what happens. Sort of this in the same way that you can't plan what will happen live on a stage. You can't predict what will happen here at the Back Catalog Listening Party. Even when working with recorded music, you still never know what will happen. And I just think that maybe I was just really in the zone. But Minnesota Snow, what a beautiful song from Katey Bellville's 2013 album Clue, which we are revisiting today here on the Back Catalog Listening Party with Katey joining us here in the Twin Cities. And yeah, what a beautiful song. I was scribbling all kinds of notes.
Yeah, I was noting once again, like the space that you have there. It's just, I mean, it allows that wind, you know, the fan noise
Yeah.
or whatever it is. I mean, like like that kind of restraint is difficult, and I love it. Is that just an aesthetic that you know you kind of went in with that in mind? Is that just how you kind of imagine the songs, or just how it came out in the studio?
Definitely. And I really had to express it to the musicians too. So when I wrote that song, it was right before Darkwood Flower as the band started playing together. And I remember us being in the garage at Colin Anderson's house, a banjo player. And I was telling them about the song. And then Zach picked up his guitar and started to play. And initially I was like, no, that's not where I want you to go with this. But I didn't say anything and I just waited. And then it just really beautifully became a mesh of what he heard and what I heard together. And then Colin was a really radical banjo player. There was no rules. And so when Mike worked on this recording of Minnesota Snow, I had to constantly be like, that's too pretty. Stop it. Stop it. No, I want you to just come in right now and just, and I want you to be right there. You know, and he was like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, very, very, very sure. So it was absolutely intentional. Yeah. And then the dragging of the bass line too, Bradley Smith helped write the bass line. And yeah, it's fun.
I love that. I love that because it actually has that feel again, not only the space that Tony mentioned, just the space in the track itself, but also that kind of, maybe it's that bass line, but that sort of like loping feel. It's kind of like how you'd be going through snow, you know, especially if you're like
slow and
I don't know. I really feel that in the track. And I was going to ask, who's singing with you on that song?
Zach Gusa.
Nice.
Good old Zach. Yeah, boy, we've been singing together a long time, and it's so enjoyable. I miss singing with him. He wasn't at the Gillian Welch tribute recently because he had an infection in his bone and they had to have surgery.
Oh no.
But coming up pretty soon, he'll be back out again, and yeah.
Excellent. And maybe I don't know if he'll be back on stage for this show, but you're playing coming up on February 22nd at Ice House.
Yes, with Feeding Leroy. I told him even if he can't play guitar, if the body still needs to heal and whatnot, that I still would really, really like him to be on stage just so we can sing together. And then Eric Larson also is a great harmony. So the three of us now, which that would have been a blast back in the day with the album as well, do 3-part harmonies regularly. And it is my happy place. I cannot think of many more happy places than being on stage and singing a 3-part harmony.
I agree. And again, if you live in the Twin Cities, she'll be playing February 22nd at Ice House in Minneapolis. But you can check out all the tour dates at kateybellville.com and also pick up a copy of the CD we're talking about today, Clue, when you're there as well. You mentioned, hi, Joe. Joe joining the party. Hi, guys. Minneapolis jumping in late.
Welcome,
Happy
Joe.
to be here. And Chris chimes in, remaster opportunity, add the wind. You have all kinds of ideas.
Yeah,
although
the beatbox and the wind.
Although I have to say, and that's not any comment on how great these tracks sound. These are just inventive ideas for down the road when you're bored and not feeling inspired to write.
There's always room for improvement.
Or just something different. But I want to go back to something you mentioned. You mentioned the Gillian Welch tribute, which was a few weeks ago here in the Twin Cities, which was such a fun night. Lots of artists we know and love here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. Obviously, you are a big Gillian Welch fan. What are some of your other, and I can hear that, by the way, in these songs, you know, sort of the acoustic, lots of space, you know, not needing to speed everything up or you know, kind of fit in some fast bluegrass or Americana pocket, which I really appreciate. Who would you cite as other influences on your music songwriting?
Well, I definitely had the real traditional side of things with my dad's music. Of course, now I'm just blanking on very obvious names, so that's embarrassing. But Carter Family for sure. I mean, we listened to a lot of old time tracks, and Sean Blackburn and Liz Masterson were some good friends of my dad. And so Liz actually is the one who inspired me to start yodeling. I was in a competition and looking for a talent of sorts and didn't want to just sing, and was listening to one of their albums and realized I could yodel. It's genetic.
That's good to know, actually. I've had a couple people ask me if I knew any yodelers, and I said no, but now we do. So, folks, if you need a yodeler,
Yep, absolutely.
I love it.
Let's see. At the time, I mean, I definitely back in the day was quite a Dixie Chicks fan, and Patty Griffin, Nico Case. But then I also got amazing inspiration off Red Hot Chili Peppers, Kentucky Headhunters. I mean, seriously, it's all over the map.
Nice.
Just, it's like if you like it, you like it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. Well, if you like what you are hearing today on the Back Catalog Listening Party, we know you are because you are throwing stuff in the comments. Feel free to chime in on the comments. If you have any questions for Katey, leave them there. You can also fill up her tip jar on Venmo, Sky Cold Blue, and we'll also put that in the comments. But feel free to throw some money in there to fund the remixing of these tracks or
the
to
next
record the
record,
next
right?
record,
Oh,
which would be, which I know is. It's time, Katey. I'm just saying.
I know.
I feel like I'm always the person who's poking you selfishly, wanting more music from Katey Bellville.
No, it is definitely time. I started working at Neon Brown Studios with Ryan Young, 7 or 8 years ago, doing an old times cover album just to motivate myself to start playing again. And it was just too hard. I had a newborn, my second kid, and it was just too hard at the time. But since then, I have about 300 voice memos on my phone of somewhat finished new songs and a good handful of new songs. So it's beyond time. So yes, if you want to add to the tip jar, that'll just go towards the new album, and then you get a free album. So let's just work together here.
Do it. Find it. And
I'm
not
ready
only
for
that,
a new
like
album.
whether it's the
to
tip
that.
jar or whether it's the buying the CD, it also tells Katey that you appreciate what she's doing and want to hear more. So do it. Go to kateybellville.com. Go to Sky Cold Blue at Venmo. Let Katey know that you want more. You want to hear more. And 300 more songs, says Lynn.
All right, Lynn. Yes.
And Rested Lullaby says, I want more music from Katey. Yes, we do. Thank you for chiming in, adding your voice, and I'll get both those links in the comments too.
Yeah, for sure. More music. Well, for now, we want to listen to some more music. So the next track that you picked to feature from this album, Clue, is At Ease. Is there anything you want to say about it before we take a listen?
Just another happy song about what a difference the world can be like if people are just nice to each other. And also, it's a really good wedding song. I've been requested to sing this at a lot of weddings.
Nice. Let's give it a listen. This is Katey Bellville, At Ease, here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
When he lays with her, he forgets the world. When she lays with him, she forgets the world. A perfection on a pillow, each breath calm and deep. Doubts, disputes put aside, that haunt them on their feet. When he lays with her, he forgets the world. When she lays with him, she forgets the world. Refuge and knockdown comforter, static is on her. Tender sheltering embrace, more sincere than words. wrapped like grace. Love's compromise is me. No burdens from the outside. Like newborns they stay when he lays with her. He forgets the world when she lays with him. She forgets the world. Together they're sheltered where no rules or laws apply. By the some premonitions, relax peacefully and die. When he lays with her, oh, when he lays with her. With her.
All right. Katey Bellville with At Ease from her 2013 release, Clue, which we are revisiting today on the back catalog listening party with Katey joining us live. And Larry, who's joining us from Texas, enjoying a Topo Chico, said he was looking for digital download on the website. I know you can get CDs on the website, but
Sorry,
you might have to go to iTunes or Amazon to get that.
Yeah, I had a bit of a glitch because I used to do it through CD Baby, and then CD Baby changed their entire platform, and so I no longer have a full album digital download available right now. I think I only have 5 songs or so that go through Apple Music and everything else. I should just put the whole album on there. But Larry, just let's connect, and I'll send you a CD, and maybe later today I'll put the whole digital album available somewhere.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I bet you if you Venmo Katey at 15 or more, she'll send it right to you. Just throw your email or address in there.
Yeah.
And then Ellen and Tony, maybe you guys can recommend where I should put that back up again. It's been a while.
Bandcamp would be a great place to put it up.
Bandcamp does a pretty good job.
And you can put your CDs and digital tracks.
Okay, I've done that, but I've only done a few songs. I didn't do the whole album.
So
Larry, Eve wanted to say that if you open up a Lone Star, maybe things would work.
Well, and hi to Eve, a fellow KFAI DJ. Great to have her joining the party as well. And Larry said, sounds good. I've worn out the 5 songs on Spotify, but you didn't know you can wear out digital tracks, but
it's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that song was so beautiful. And of course, we've been talking a lot about the banjo, but the mandolin on that was so beautiful. Who was playing on that?
So on that album, it's banjo and mandolin are both played by Steve Peavy. And he is a musician connection from Nashville. My dad's good friend, Jeff Gilkinson, played music and maybe still does regularly with Steve Peavy. And he is another one of those talents that he can play anything. His brain is, it's just amazing. And so when I went down and started some of the recordings and some of the backbone of it, I sent him all my music and asked him if he'd help me out and if he would play, and he did. And it was so much fun. I haven't seen him in, we keep saying 2013 and it doesn't feel like a real number, but since 2013. So I have to find him again. He's just phenomenal. But yeah, he played both on that. And what a joy. Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really beautiful stuff. And we mentioned that this was recorded partly in Nashville, partly in Minneapolis. But when you started performing these songs, like when you had your release show here in the Twin Cities, is that sort of when more of a band coalesced around these songs?
Yeah. So Darkwood Flower, I was already playing with Zach, and then that band broke up. And then somewhere in between, afterwards, I decided to work on the album. And I think when I was in Nashville, I realized that I wanted my band back. You know what I mean? I just missed having that homey feeling. I wanted people on their album, even though Steve and everybody were amazing. I was going to leave. We weren't going to hang out and play music together, you know? So when I came back to Minneapolis, I actually went on Craigslist and
Really?
started digging around for musicians. I have found a lot of musician friends on Craigslist. You would not, you would not believe. And guess what one of them is?
Oh,
My kidding.
oh, on
Oh,
Craigslist,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, I found him.
Gun
And
for hire.
yeah, and Chris O'Brien, who I've been playing with for years as well. And Ryan Kim, who was playing bass on the album for a little bit. So I had these recordings and then came home and then started to put a band together again, which is really opposite direction. I like to do things in the wrong order. And so then I was trying to infuse them into the album as we went. So yeah, it was backwards, but that's how I did it.
Speaking of personnel on the record here, we had some great pictures that you sent along from the Minnesota leg of this recording,
Yes.
and there was a couple that really stood out, including this one here of
oh,
Peter
the late
Ostruszko.
great Peter Ostruszko. How did that collaboration come about?
Well, so I keep talking about my dad, who's a wonderful connection to the music community. And I don't mean to, I have to remember to mention my mom too. She's just a phenomenal inspiration, so motivating. She was the photographer for Prairie Home Companion for years and has since still been involved in so many amazing projects. And so they were all friends. And even though Peter and I hadn't seen each other in years, I had contacted him and told him I was recording the album and I'd love it if he would come and play on it. And he showed up in a heartbeat.
That's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
is this Ryan here?
Yep, that's Ryan.
Look at
Yep,
that.
and yeah, at the time I remember, so that was the only song that's not an original on the album. It's called Say Darling Say, and we did it in B or something where it's like not necessarily a fiddle player's favorite. But Ryan didn't care, of course. And as I was saying before, I was really looking for this simple. And so I don't think we ended up even using Ryan's fiddle on the recording. And I just felt like, who do I think I am? I'm telling Ryan that I'm not going to use him. But luckily, he's an amazing person. And we have since been playing music nonstop together. And boy, I appreciate him beyond words.
I got to know about the washed up bass.
oh, that must be Brad, Brad from the Brass Kings, right?
Absolutely. Good old Brass Kings. Yeah, we had to throw that in there with Steve. Played a little bit on the album. Brad played a little bit. Mickle played some washboard on the album. As I mentioned, I mean, really, there were a lot of people's hands on this.
Wow. It's really impressive, the group, but it also is a testament to the songwriting and to what you're bringing to the table and how you're able to bring people together. And I kind of along those lines with songwriting, we got a question here from our friend Chris, who just wanted to know a little bit more about your writing process.
Sure.
He said, you mentioned voice memos. Are those lyrical thoughts that get some guitar time as they develop, or maybe the assumption, or is it the other way around?
So
Beatbox.
The best time for me for songwriting absolutely is driving in a car. I grew up both in the center of downtown Minneapolis, pretty much, and then in the center of a 300 plus acre farm in Wisconsin. And so there was a lot of driving in between my whole life. And also it's the only time I'm usually alone. So that has really been my songwriting inspirational time. And usually it's lyrics that start first. And the voice memos are because my memory will forget it immediately, just like when you wake up from a good dream or a bad nightmare and you're like, there's no way I'm going to forget this in 2 minutes, and then it's gone. So I voice memo constantly so that I don't forget. But usually it's the lyrics that come first, definitely. And then I just have to be alone to let the rest go. And that's one reason that I've been on a bit of a hiatus, because my beautiful children don't usually leave me alone. One is at a birthday party right now, so that's why I'm a little bit, and the other one snuck in here for a minute, but he's being very respectful. So he knew that I needed some privacy.
Nice.
And you mentioned that when you were working on this record that you were pregnant with one of your kids. Is that right?
Yeah, so it definitely took longer than I had anticipated. And yeah, William, so the picture on the one that was being advertised for the backlog catalog, where I've got like a buffalo plaid shirt on and I'm looking sideways.
Here, I'll see
My
if I can
mom took
find
that
one
picture.
here.
My mom took that picture, and I'm pregnant. Yep, I'm pregnant with him in that one. And our CD release that we did in November 2013, I think I was 5 months, and I told everybody on stage for the first time that I was pregnant that night. So Yeah.
So a big
Yeah. And
part of
then,
that record. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And also, so I got married like a year, 11 months before William was born. And I remember Steve Call being at my wedding even because I still owed him some money.
So
We
that's why he
weren't.
was at your wedding to collect it.
No.
Okay.
He
All
wasn't
right.
he wasn't the owner of Wild Sound yet, but he was working there. He was still working at, what is he called? His personal business was Dream something.
Mm.
I can't remember. It was, so sometimes we would do work at his house in his studio because he was trying to help me save some money and not have to always pay the Wild Sound prices. And yeah, so let's just say I had a little bit of a balance. And he was like, "Happy wedding. You don't owe me any more money." And I was like, "You are making." And also, let's just be done with this now. Obviously, I need to be done with this album.
I do love too that you were talking about how your first time on stage was when you were 5, with your dad. But William got you beat. He was in utero
No
his
doubt.
first time on stage. So and it's
Yeah.
and I can also say that one of my last album releases, I was also pregnant on stage, although no one knew it. And that is a heavy thing to put out an album right before you have a kid, because there's a lot going on at that time. So
Yes. Yeah.
and in addition to all of that, you also had I know this was a crowdfunded album, right? You did a Kickstarter to fund this album,
Yeah. Yeah. I did a
and
Kickstarter.
so you had to
Um,
send all these albums out too, probably. And maybe you had to make weird Kickstarter rewards, or, handwrite lyrics or weird things. I don't know.
yeah, I didn't do too much. I actually still owe. So I had a fair amount of
Uh,
people who donated. Oh, yeah, that's me sending all the albums out to all my Kickstarter supporters. I had a fair amount of friends and supporters who gave over $500 as donation clips. And I was supposed to do private shows for some of them. And some of them had us do it, and some of them didn't. I can't remember. But I know, Dan Mahowski, I still technically owe you better. And and then my friends Becky and Miles helped me put together just the whole video, and Doug Otto helped me rewrite one of my songs. Well, he played the guitar, I rewrote it as like a jingle for the Kickstarter, and it was really fun, but it was a lot of pressure. And next time I do a Kickstarter, I'm going to have the album done and then do the Kickstarter, because I kept feeling the need to send emails to everybody and be like,
and maybe not be pregnant at the
I'm
same
working on
time as
it.
all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it takes a village
Indeed.
for all these things, to raise a kid, to get an album out into the world, to make an album. And we are, if you want to contribute to Katey's Village further for the next album project, kateybellville.com is where you can buy the album that we are talking about today, Clue. You can also throw something in the tip jar on Venmo. And this is a great opportunity as we talk about the village and the people that keep great music happening in the world. We want to thank our Patreon supporters. These are the folks that have supported this show through what episode are we on now?
We are on 195.
195. This
How
is
is
all
that even
because of these
possible?
folks. So we want to thank the people that have continued to keep this party going from COVID through now. Penny, Anna, Linda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Alex, Becky, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Fred, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Homestead, Victor, Carlos, Severin, Lynn, Mary, Many Tracks, Nikki, Joni, David, CJ, Wiley, Stephanie, and maybe you. If you want to support what we do here in the Back Catalog Listening Party, we do this every Friday, inviting different guest artists to revisit old records. And we do it with your support. And when you join the Patreon community, you get first look at all the guests. You get invites to special after parties and live streams. We have some cool things coming up as we approach our 200th episode.
200.
What? And you can get a Founder's Pint Glass, which Tony was modeling earlier. There you go. So you can get that when you go to patreon.com/back catalog listening party. And I know that glass is the beer is going and time is a wasting. I can't believe how fast this hour has gone, but we have time for at least one more song here, which we will get to right now. And this is one of my favorites, Ripped Blue Jeans. Is there anything you want to say about this song before we take a listen?
I always feel the need to explain that I don't know, it's not supposed to be superficial, but it sure sounds like it, doesn't it? Hey, I mean, it's nice to have basic things. I've talked about simplicity I really like how people look in ripped blue jeans. I love ripped blue jeans. They're my favorite. I'm glad it's coming back around. And also, I'm pretty sure that someday soon, Levi is going to call me, and that's going to be on a commercial for their jeans. So let's do this.
There you go. We're putting it out in the universe, folks.
Come
We're
on, Levi.
We're manifesting it. Yeah.
I am not Control Machete. There's this really cool Latino band that does this Levi ad where it was like they made the guys' pants do weird stuff when they were walking. It was early on in graphic design. But yes.
All right. Well, Levi's, any employees out there listening, this is going to be great for your next ad spot. But it's the perfect way to finish off our hour here together with Katey Bellville. This is Rip Blue Jeans here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
All I want is somebody who looks good in ripped blue jeans. All I want is somebody who looks good in ripped blue jeans. No tapered ankles and no tight inseams. Every man needs some room to move and breathe. Ain't looking for nobody who is squeaky clean. Some dirt on your hands proves you earn a living. All I want is somebody who looks good in ripped blue jeans. All I want is somebody who looks good in ripped blue jeans. And I like long hair, it's the first thing that I see. Red, brown, black, blonde, it's all the same to me. Give me some tattooed arms, muscle and mystery. Whoa, but Big Papa, don't forget about them jeans. All I want is somebody who looks good in ripped blue jeans. All I want is somebody who looks good in ripped blue jeans. And I have my goals, they are not out of reach. And I have my dreams, they aren't unseen. I have good friends, I have great family. Oh dear Lord, can't you give me one more thing? All I want is somebody who looks good in ripped blue jeans. All I want is somebody who looks good in ripped blue jeans. All I want is somebody who looks good in ripped blue jeans. All I want is somebody who looks good in ripped blue jeans.
Katey Bellville with Ripped Blue Jeans from her 2013 album Clue, which we are revisiting today on the Back Catalog Listening Party with Katey joining us live. Folks loving that song. And David even mentioned, he said, every cut today has been so rich. Can't wait to hear the entire album and the next one.
That's
so
right.
if you want to get get the album and support the next record, the best way to do that is to buy the album from Katey directly, kateybellville.com. And you can also throw something in that tip jar on Venmo as well. And before we go here, I also want to ask about the cover art. I know you had also sent some other images that were you weren't sure which direction you were going to go. There's photos of dogs. There's other beautiful illustrated artwork as well. But strawberries ended up on the cover of the album. Tell us a little bit about this artwork and how you landed on this.
I was working with Matt Hussey to put together some CD art, and I just kept going back to strawberries. I've always had a thing for them. And it was funny because I remember we were at Whitey's in Minneapolis sitting together, and he wanted to know also why strawberries. And I said, I don't know. And then I opened up my computer and my screensaver was a strawberry and like something else. And he's like, Katey, you have strawberries everywhere. And I thought, interesting. You're right, I do. And what I really think it came back to is my high chair when I was a little girl had strawberries on it. And
Mm.
I really think that's what it is, because I specifically love the vintage pattern. So Matt and I worked on those strawberries. We added texture, we added depth to them. He did a really good job of helping me flip them around. Yeah, strawberries make me happy.
Well, they make
Hey,
me happy, and this album makes me happy, so it all
yeah,
works for me.
tasty,
For
tasty
sure.
cover, tasty music. I love it.
That's right. And if you want to see some of these images we're talking about, well, if you want to see the cover of the album, you can just buy the album at
Best way, yeah.
kateybellville.com. But we will also be sharing some of the other images and photos that we were sharing today on the show. If you're just listening to the audio version, you can check it out at backcatalog.listeningparty.com, which is where we archive all of our shows. So if you want to hear any of our past episodes or share this Katey Bellville episode. And again, folks are loving the show and loving the songs. And
It's so fun. Yeah, Larry's already got a CD coming to him. I already have. Yep,
Awesome.
that's going to be on the way. And April, who is one of our Rusted Lullaby, thank you, you sweetheart. I love you so much. I should have put a picture of. She sent me a picture of her hand earlier, and it said Katey 4 p.m. She wrote it on permanent marker to remember the show.
I love that. And so everyone enjoying the show. And if you enjoyed the show as much as we know you are, because you're saying it,
Yes.
then also say it with that like button. Like the episode on YouTube, direct more bots to Katey Bellville. And also you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, because as I mentioned, we do this every Friday at 4 p.m. Central with different guest artists revisiting old records. And as we approach
Like
that
our
200th
friend Becky
episode,
Schlegel, who popped
Yes.
in here.
another past guest here on the
Becky.
back catalog, and we mentioned a bunch of the other artists that performed on your record have also been guests on the show, like Steve Call, who I'm guessing that was him playing guitar on that track.
That was actually Rich. Well, hold on.
Rich Rue, right?
Yeah, Rich
Oh.
Rue.
Yeah, tasty stuff from the
Yeah,
Rowe
so
Family
fun.
Singers.
That's
Another,
right. Yeah, Nikki and
So
the Roommates is how I first met him, of course. And yep,
yeah,
what a blast.
wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been
Yeah,
such a
Katey,
treat.
For
thank
having
you.
me. This was so fun. I really, I can't even say, like, thank you so much. It was so fun to get back into this headspace and think about these things again and look at these pictures and listen to these recordings. It's been a while, and I needed that motivation. So thank you.
Awesome. And you heard from the people. They want more.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Good.
More Katey
So
Bellville.
everybody out there, if you're listening to this live right now or you're listening to this later, head on over to kateybellville.com. Find out what she's up to. Support her by buying a CD, throwing some money in the tip jar, or going to a show.
That's right. And we'll see many of you back next week at 4 p.m. Central for another edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party. But until then, get out there and hear some live music. Here in Minnesota, it's not very cold or snowy, so there's no excuses.
That's right.
Like
You can
Tony,
wear
aren't
shorts.
Yeah.
Flip-flops.
like Tony, aren't you playing tomorrow at Astor Cafe?
That's right. Well,
Bluegrass
if you
Brunch?
happen to be in the Twin Cities tomorrow, I'll be there with the High 48's Bluegrass Band, and then Sunday, I'm going to be playing with your husband,
right.
Ellen, at the Ice House
For Jasper
Lepek's CD release party, the 28th of January. If you're listening to this in real time, man, abundance of riches here in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, and wherever you are tuned in from, check out some live music and come back here to hear some great old music next week here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. Have a great weekend.
See
and
you
cheers.
next week. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.